that issue is it won't let me turn my phone sideways. It made me reorient my phone, and I can't see any of the scrolling, obviously, because as you see the landscape moving by me as I go. So I hope everybody can hear me, because I can't get any closer to the phone. You know what I should have done is plugged my earbuds in, and I could have listened on my earbuds, but at least would have had the microphone closer to me. So I see someone's there, so I can't respond to anybody because the lettering is about this big. So I can't see it, but it's a throwback. 9 years ago when we started doing lives, I did lives out of the truck. As you can tell, landscape's moving by me because I am driving, and last week we didn't have a live. I thought I could make it today. Today was the last day of Discovery Camp, and we closed the bunkers. So we have to bring everything down, load the bunkers, and weld the bunkers shut. So it's an extended period of time, and by the time we got done and I hit the road, I realized I would not make it back. And so I decided it might be a little shorter today, but I would do live at 4 o'clock and do live on the road. So this is the throwback to back in the day when you would see me pulled over on the side of the road or in a parking lot or in the truck. I used to do the lives from the truck, even though I was pretty sure we did them sideways. So I don't know why it's wanting me to reorient, but it just told me before I went live it wanted me to reorient the phone. So it kind of sucks for me, but yeah, I thought it was, I set the camera for the shot I was getting with it turned for landscape. Yeah, it would be landscape. And instead it wants me to film portrait. So I can't see what anyone's saying. I can't even see what anybody's saying, even when we're slowed down. And there's a City of Phoenix cop right next to me, so he's not paying attention to me. So, but I'm not going to be reading the phone. I'm going to, for the most part, be driving. Upside of this, I can smoke. So I can smoke. First time I've got to smoke on a live for a while. Oh, now he's going to look at me, give me the eye. What are you doing? We're live. It would be funny if he was looking down at his little computer screen and watching me live and then realized I was next to him. But I don't think the Phoenix PD doesn't watch me. The government doesn't watch me. Aliens, maybe. So, Discovery Camp wrapped up. We had 97 kids out there today. So, that was nice. We got through them. We got everything down to the bunker, loaded the bunker in about an hour. And then we had some miscellaneous other stuff. So like I said, I didn't even get out of there. I was hoping to be out of there before 2 o'clock, and I got out of there about 2:30, 2:40. So, and then I got a long, long drive in traffic all the way across town. So you are journeying with me down the I-10. So you can't see, and you can't even see in the back of the truck. In the back of the truck is one of the gold panning water troughs and stands, because I refurbish those in the off season. So I always take one home, and I fix them and kind of get them straightened out and repainted and everything for the next year. So I have one loaded up in the back of my truck. So if you're driving by a blue Ford pickup truck with looks like some water barrels in the back and a bunch of rebar frames sticking out, that's me. Just honk. I'll listen for the honk. Nope, nobody around me's watching. So there we are. But yeah, the unfortunate aspect is I really can't see what's on the screen at all. I can't see the names. I'm just trying to traffic stop, so I'm just trying to look over. But yeah, I can't see what anybody's saying. So that is unfortunate questions people have and ask. But it's been a busy week. March 15th will be the Treasure Hunter of the Year Awards at Goldfield Ghost Town at the Mammoth Saloon. So we'll have our inductee and our special recognition this year. And a little special ceremony to precede it. I think we're starting at 5 o'clock with the meet and greet. So that'll be coming up. And then it's right after that, Larry Akins was talking to me. I don't know if Larry joined us. Larry's probably surprised as hell that I'm doing live, because Larry was out there with me today. But yeah, it's the rendezvous preparation starts right after the Treasure Hunt of the Year Awards. So starting putting my mind towards that and the slow burn towards that till next fall. So, and I already got a few things in mind and a few things kind of gathered together for use for next year. So kind of moving those things forward. I'd ask for questions or something, or answer somebody's questions. Again, if you're asking me questions, put them in comments after we're done, because I will come back and try to look at it and answer what I can. I cannot answer live, or I'll take the questions from this week, maybe put them in write them all down, and then try to answer them next week on live, because I think I'm good next week, because Discovery Camp's over and kind of clear of that. So, but yeah, that's a lot of, it's fun, but it's a lot of work, and closing the bunker's a lot of work, because we have the 5 troughs. We have to clear out all the water and all the dirt and mud out of them, and then we have to load everything, and the benches and everything. We're up in gold panning, and so it takes probably 5 or 6 trips with the pickup. We have to load the pickup, take it down, unload it, put it in the bunker, go back up the hill and load. And it was Greg Davis, myself, Larry Akins, Mike Spraga, and Kim Johnson. So Kim Johnson was there, and pretty much us. Somebody else came up and chipped in a hand. I can't remember who it was, but someone else came up. But yeah, it was supposed to be anybody available, come on up to whoever's still loading, and everybody got done with their stuff, because they got light stuff. We have the heavy stuff, and they loaded all their light stuff in, and then they sat around the kitchen area, and then we kept going up and down the hill, and they just look at us like they're irritated that we're still taking it. You know, it's like, come on. So a lot of heavy stuff, but we did get it packed up. Last year, I think we were a little quicker, and I think I did make it back for live last year, but I think we got done a little earlier. Our last group was done a little, we were able to get out of there a little quicker. So yeah, but it is what it is. So I still made it for live. Hopefully it's not buffering too bad as I'm moving, because I'm traveling the whole time. I'm trying to see and watch, you know, guys can put in comments, because it shows me that it's scrolling at least, and that I'm connected, because I don't know what it does. It's been so long since I did this live on an iPhone moving, I don't remember what it does. I don't know if it tells me something, or if you guys just lose the signal. So, but right now we're passing through, we're out of Glendale, Arizona. Phoenix, I don't know, I don't see any signage. So I'm at mile marker 138. So anybody wants to run out of their house and run down to the freeway and wave. So, but I am making it through traffic, and it is the slow traffic. It's kind of getting into rush hour, so lucky me gets to do this and slowly just move along in traffic. But it's, you know, I don't have to be too on point. I can kind of glance over at the phone occasionally and make sure everything's still running. But yes, I didn't want to miss another live. One of the things I prepared to talk about was a lot of people look at the Superstitions, and they look at the Lost Dutchman, and they talk about, you know, the show we did. And you got Oak Island, you have Blind Frog Ranch, you have Skinwalker Ranch, and Skinwalker Ranch is a bit bigger than the other two, but Oak Island's not much smaller than the area of Blind Frog Ranch, which people probably are surprised to hear. It's just not a lot of room. Garden Valley is actually, if you've been in the Superstitions or look at the area known as Garden Valley, off the First Water Trail, is actually bigger than either Oak Island or the area they work in Blind Frog Ranch. So just that one spot in the mountains, which is not a very big spot, is just a nice flat area that's called Garden Valley. It has some history. That area is as big as what the other people are working with. That says a lot, because when you're working with a much smaller specific area with camera crews and stuff, it's so much easier. And for us, we were working with, I don't know, what is it? How many hundreds of thousands of acres? So it is just like mind-numbing, the difference between those shows and the logistics and the expense of filming them and everything going through them. So yeah, just the miles we cover. I mean, you couldn't cover the miles in those shows that we cover, because there's not enough room in those places to cover those. But like I said, Skinwalker Ranch is a little larger, It's larger than Garden Valley, but it's not these huge places. And I think that when you look at where we were from Hewitt Canyon into Peralta Canyon and Fish Creek Canyon and all the areas, I mean, all those areas we filmed in were far larger areas than any of those shows filmed in. So it's just a big difference in the logistics. But why can't you find the treasure? It's just the sheer size of what you're dealing with. I don't know how many. I have to sit down and put it together how many Oak Islands you could fit on top of Peters Mesa or Bluff Springs Mountain. That's another thing. It's just those places are so small that you can literally, now that they've been building different structures and doing different things on them, you can see the houses and structures through the trees more often than not, because there just isn't a lot of room. They're very small parcels on a very, and I can't remember what the number is, but yes, Oak Island's number is very similar to Blind Frog Ranch's, and like I said, Skinwalker's bigger, more acreage, but it's not that much bigger. But they're able to use, I don't know who owns the property or how much property they have going up on the ridge, but they have that, which gives the perception of also size and distance as well, probably. So, but it's hard to compare, and that's one of the things I think when people look at a lot of programs and shows of like comparable. There also was one of the guys, I saw something, I don't know if anybody caught it. It was on YouTube. One of the guys was talking about a number of the gold shows and how they operate. I don't know. I don't watch a lot of those shows because after a while I realize they're kind of just the redundancy of them, which is one of the things we saved ourselves from, of being forever redundant. But the redundancy after seasons that they do, you start to see a lot of what they're doing, how they're doing things. And he was exposing a lot about a number of different programs and how they're done in a lot of things. And God, I'm trying to remember what his name was. But he talked a little about Gold Rush and then Bering Sea Gold. What was the other one? He had a couple others he talked about. And it was like, I was like, man, I guess he doesn't want to work in television anymore, because he was talking about very specific things that I really wouldn't want to, because even for you, the viewer, you're dealing with something that you don't want the illusion spoiled. If we're not acknowledging, you could say, oh, well, I can kind of tell that, or that's probably what's going on, but we're not directly addressing it in detail and documenting it for you. You can still sit there and be entertained and kind of suspend, it's kind of like, oh, there's a new movie coming out with a lot of CGI, but we're going to run an hour special showing you all the CGI behind the scenes of all the stuff you're going to see in the movie. And then you see that first, well, it ruins the whole movie, because now you're watching the movie from the technical aspect of, wow, it turned out really good, all this technical stuff they did. You're not immersing yourself in the story or the film. And that's why I don't agree with kind of what he did, but that was out there. But my big thing this week was, and of course I don't have my numbers because they're sitting at the desk, and of course I would have had Trevor cover this to help you guys and kind of touch base with all of you until I got home, which I probably wouldn't have made it. But Trevor has a competition and a film testing thing today, so he's not even done today yet. He's running behind, so both of us kind of like life gets caught up, and it happens to everyone. But like I said I'd be back, so I wanted to make sure at 4 o'clock I was here, at least to address the fact of like, yeah, there was no way I was going to make it, so I wanted to kind of sign in. I cannot hear anything, cannot see anything. I can see that people are commenting and saying things, so I will try to come back to questions and stuff. One thing Greg Davis wanted to know, someone at the rendezvous or so forth talked about J. Clapp's mine, and that John Pierce had originally dug that or been working on it. That was John Pierce's. And someone talked about it, and Greg wanted to know who it was. And I remember them talking about, Trevor remembers it, but none of us can remember who it was. I don't know if it was the only person I got left was Dallas Wright, and I don't know if it was him, because I was going through who I talked to and who I was sitting around that might have brought it up. And after we went through all the names, Dallas, you're one of the few I got left. Anyhow, and I'm holding up pretty good because I did get a soda to clear my throat before we did this. But I had to drive out and just been eating dust all day. So dusty all day, eyes are watery from the dust, and of course I'm driving in the sun now. So will be nice to get a nice hot shower and get the dust and dirt off me and be done with today. But I'm here for you guys now. So we got 15 minutes in, and I'm going to be here a bit longer because everybody around me can look at me like I'm crazy because it looks like that guy's talking to himself. But I'm fine with that. But this is how we did start live originally, was me just kind of goofing on the phone. At the time the TV show was out and people were watching the TV show, so I just started talking about the show. And it was actually Facebook Live we did back then. And I would just go live on Facebook and talk to people. People were very surprised that the guy from the TV show would actually go on Facebook and just talk to people. And I was like, I didn't get it. I guess I still don't get it because I'm one of the few people that will do that. But people didn't understand that. I always thought it's good for business, it's good for everything, that you talk about everything. If I'm telling you the truth and I'm trying to be honest as possible, I'm going to put myself there and say yes, okay, and I might have to be evasive and non-answering if it's something on an NDA or something. For the most part, I shouldn't have a problem. The guys that won't do this stuff and say blah, 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 but they're still collecting checks and stuff, they're collecting checks and trying to sell you a bill of goods on this or that, their book or their DVD or something else, but they aren't going to like put themselves out there on a regular basis. I don't know what they're saving themselves from, because you can pretty much start to forget them. So I always think your best marketing ploy or strategy or best way to present yourself is to make yourself available. And if you're being honest and you're being forthcoming, if there's things you didn't like about a program or something you didn't like to do, this is the perfect place to say, yeah, you know what, there's times they really had me do something I wasn't comfortable with. I don't want to get into specifics, but I always, like I say in the Chasing Legends and doing this stuff, I want to be as honest and straightforward as possible, because that builds a trust between you and the audience. Of course, the networks and people just don't feel people pay attention enough to care about trust or whatnot. But again, if you're not creating that trust or trying to work towards that with any integrity, people lose that trust in things and then they just don't care anymore. But when they do find someone that they can trust, they get a loyal and dedicated audience, which we have. We have a very loyal, dedicated audience of people that always come back. Trevor notes that very much. It's, like, wow, it's slowly growing. But the people that come in, there was the people that were here originally. There's a few people still around. But for the most part, it's a lot of people that have come in the last 2 or 3 years. And the people stick and they kind of feel part of something as it grows. It's very similar, I guess, in a way that what happened with Joe Rogan as well. It's just he didn't care about the BS. He wanted to have conversations with people and ask questions, and sometimes he was not very agreeable with people, and sometimes he rolled his eyes, which I've been known to do from time to time. So there you go. Again, so anybody that's posting and stuff and listening in, I cannot see what you guys are posting. It's there. It's way too small. There's no way I can be distracted by it. I'm attentive on the road. I will glance at the camera when I'm looking over that direction, but that's just to make sure the camera's up and on and that I see something scrolling, changing occasionally so that I know we're live. But other than that, it's just me, a talking head. So I apologize for that. We should have some good questions I can go back and go through, write down and answer next week. But again, my word was my word. I'll be back next Friday for doing live, and there was no way I would make it back to the studio for it. So, and like I said, I don't know why the phone made me switch it. I was perfectly set in the landscape mode and everything being fine. And the moment I went to live, it told me, and I know I had this problem before and I can't remember how I had to fix it, but it immediately told me it would not go live till I switched it to a portrait. And I did, and it's working, it appears. So there we go. But like I said, there is one perk. There is one single perk of doing this like this. It's not a perk you can enjoy, but it's a perk I can enjoy. I get to smoke. So that's, yeah, I used to be able to sit here and smoke. One of the things I hated when doing the interviews, and definitely a lot of stuff I did with networks, is they want to talk to you. It's like, I don't have time, and I usually tried to put it in my lunchtime, or I'd be working late and I would have to pull over and do it. And I would be sitting in a truck and they'd make me turn the AC and everything off to do these type of things. Right now I have it running very low, and it is nice out. It's only 80 degrees, but yeah, it would be 110 and they'd have me turn the AC off and roll up the windows, and I'd be in the truck with it running, just sitting there sweltering and just sweat and just looking miserable, and I just couldn't wait to get off with them. But we do have that stuff. All that stuff was recorded, and I told Trevor we need to get all that stuff off the original cards and post that stuff. I want to put it up because it's all interesting, and for some unknown reason they had me send the files, but they let me keep all the original stuff. So some of my original auditions and stuff I still have, and that would have been with Go Go Lucky. I wasn't under contract to History. My stuff with Go Go lapsed. They told me to keep the it was a Zoom camera and microphone. They told me to keep the equipment, so I still have the equipment. But I still have, I would have sent the cards back with the equipment, but yeah, and then I took the cards out, labeled them, and put them away, because I thought, well, that might come in handy someday if they ever release the show and make something of it. Well, yes, they did, and there that stuff is. So I don't see much scrolling. I'm kind of hoping we're still locked in here. Kind of looking over. It's hard. Like I said, it's really hard. Everything's really small. I got the sun in my eyes. I thought the room was bad with the glare on the computer screens occasionally, with the light and stuff. Okay, this is far worse. This is far worse. Yeah, I can't really see much of anything. But I do have the handy dandy phone stand that I picked up, and haven't used much. We did do some filming with it once. I don't think we ever used the film footage, but we did do some filming with it, because the iPhones obviously have high quality, not just high def, but they have the high quality video that we can't use. So we did mount a few, film some, but I don't know whatever happened to that. So that's another thing, is so much stuff we filmed, and then we said, well, we won't use that now, we'll use that later. That's something we can put together later for something else. I have to go through with Trevor, because we have 4 or 5 hard drives just filled with film, and I don't even know what's on there anymore. I know there's some stuff I did that we never put on the internet, and who knows how much, actually maybe some cool stuff is out there. So there might be something good. And again, I'm not seeing, I might see movement, I don't know. It's hard to tell. It's really hard to tell. So that's what we're doing, and me talking for 23 minutes now. And I had to do this all day, teaching the kids about the geology, talking about the volcanoes, supervolcanoes, and calderas, and all kinds of stuff. That gold comes from outer space, and collapsing suns, and all that kind of stuff, good stuff. Trying to educate the young people and some of the parents, so that they start to learn a little bit about how the world and things work around them, which is good. You should always know how things work. What was that I was listening to the other day? It was talking, is it Jupiter is 100 times larger than the sun, but it completely spins, even though it's 100 times larger than the Earth. It actually spins every 10 hours. It goes through its entire cycle. So instead of like the 24 hours we have, it has 10 hours, but it's 100 times larger, and it's just so much gases. You can just imagine the swirling dervish that is. Definitely no life on there. I think we can safely say? Are people going to be polite and nice? Look at this, man. I just got right over. People are so nice sometimes. But yeah, that was something I learned this week about Jupiter. I don't remember what I was watching. I stop on things on television and will just kind of look at podcasts and then put in sometimes the most ridiculous thing that I wouldn't think I'm interested in, and just listen to see if I can learn something. So, what do we have coming up as anything else? I haven't talked to Frank this week, so I've tried to call him twice, and he has a habit of turning his phone off, and so he doesn't get the missed calls and stuff, so I haven't heard back from him. I talked to Greg Davis, I talked to Ron Feldman, I talked to Shoes, and I talked to, I try to keep in touch, but yeah, Frank's become turning his phone off a lot, so I don't know. He's doing well because the phone is off, I guess. His wife would have let me know if something happened to him. I'm sure he's happy playing with his little dog, but yeah, so waiting for him. I've been talking to him since November about getting out, and he keeps telling me, okay, hold on. Okay, let me check my calendar. I'll get back to you. Frank, it's almost March. So, but he's happy. If he's happy and he's healthy, then we're all good with it, is what I would think. But I've talked to Woody more than I've talked to Frank in the last month or two. Go figure that one out. So, Woodrow's doing well. So, out and panning and having a blast and having a good time. So we had some good conversations. Haven't talked to Dalil or Magnuson. I got to make a Dalil phone call here soon. Just everything's been so busy. So kind of like didn't have much of an opportunity, because if I call him and I want to make sure I got an hour or two, I'm definitely traveling or in between places where I know I have time to talk to him. Don't want to do it and then abruptly have to get off the phone. Like this would have been a good day to call Dalil. Hey Eric, what's up? But yeah, and that's kind of a lot of times when I have these long drives across town, I'll get my phone calls in to kind of kill the time a bit. So, and kind of make some notes of things along the way. But we have stuff planned. The stuff we had planned with Frank, I would hope we get to it. We're going to do a couple things regardless. Otherwise, it just kind of becomes difficult when you're kind of like waiting on someone's word for something. And you don't know what to think one way or the other really about it. So there you go. And I don't know if everything's still moving. I can't tell. Someone type, I don't know what you can type. Let me know. I just try to look at the little logo symbol things for your channels, and yeah, okay, somebody moved one. Thank you. Yeah, I'm just watching them till I see one move. When I see one move, I know we're still kind of, even if it buffered, it's going to catch up, and then everything should be there when we get there. I see it now moving again, but I can't read. Like I said, there's no way. I don't think there's anybody who can read that from almost 2.5 feet away. So now the sun, well, at least the sun's in this direction. So, but moving my way down the highway and kind of getting along here. We're at 428 and it's 77 degrees. I lost 3 degrees. There you go. Coming out of downtown, getting outside of town. So we are now outside of Goodyear, Avondale. We should be coming up into, I would think it'd be Glendale. I don't like that cigarette. Yes, it's that far driving around here, but it's not. It goes pretty fast. You can put across the miles. If you notice, while there was a bit of traffic before, the freeway system out here actually works pretty well as compared to when we didn't have the freeway system. And again, when you're typing a lot of stuff, I cannot see who you are or any of the words. I will catch everything up later after I'm done with the live, and then I'll try to address things on the live next week. That's the troll proofing of everything, isn't it? I can just delete stuff off and look at it and not have to answer things. But anyways, yeah, I did want to keep to my word that I would be here. Keep my cigarette lit. keep to my word that I said I would be live. I didn't want to do something like say, oh, we're live and we can't do live today and spend 5 minutes with you. I figured I'd put in some time on the drive. I had the drive time, so I decided I'll get it on 4 o'clock and then I'll hit it on the way through. We'll get 30 or 40 minutes in. Kind of explains it for anybody that tunes in afterwards. They understand what happened. We'll be all, hopefully everybody's good with that. It's better something than nothing. Like I said, I'm sure there's things that people wanted to ask and things we discussed last week or the week before that I had got to. But Discovery Camp wrapped up. We loaded the bunker. In under an hour, we had the bunker loaded with the gold panning stuff. We really hauled butt, and we did well, but there was only 4 or 5 of us doing it. But we got everything loaded, and then caught our breath, and we got out of there. Thank you, Larry and Kim. I know you guys get in here and do this and check on things, but yeah, either one of you, definitely thank you guys, man, for coming out today and helping us. A little short-handed, but yeah, we had a good time. We had 5 classes today, 97 kids, without incident, without injury, and we didn't lose anybody. And hopefully somebody learned something. And it's good. That was 6, we'd probably 100 kids each week. I think it was down a little, the size of the classes and the groups from the year before, but we probably did at least 100 kids a week or more. So for 6 weeks, that's well over 600 kids we've worked with, teaching gold panning, hiking, ranching, indigenous people stuff. And then we have Liberty Wildlife that shows them the hawks and the falcons and the barn owls and stuff they've rescued. So it's good for the kids. Get out of class on a Friday. They get to pan for some gold. They get to rope some, I don't know, they're wrought iron steers. They're not real steers, but they get to do a little roping. They get to see how branding's done. They get to play with some pottery. They get to learn a little bit about a bunch of stuff and do some interactive. And they get to go on a little hike. Then they sit in the amphitheater and have their lunch while there's a little lecture that goes on down there. But that's Discovery Camp. And this was the 25th anniversary of Discovery Camp. So we did that for 25 years. So this year, last year was the 20th anniversary of the Rendezvous. So this year will be the 21st year of the Rendezvous. It's the 25th anniversary of Discovery Camp. And the Dawns in May. We started, I think it's 1931. 31 or 32. I don't know which date they go by. I'm going to have to find out. Because the Dawns kind of started to form in the 30s, about 31, but 32. So it's one of those, but if we say 31, they're getting close in. They're only about 6 years out from 100 years. So 5 or 6 years. And Trek started 1934. So this would be 91 years, 92 years from Trek. So the first Trek. So this is the 90th anniversary, I believe, from the Trek emanating down at Peralta. So all that stuff. So, and we might do a hike still. It's just been trying to find space. I am a member of the board of directors of the Dawns of Arizona. I serve on other. Where are we going? Are we back? Where are we going? Are we back? I don't see us back. Where am I? Where am I? Something going on? Hold on. Let's see what's going on here. Something happened, and I don't have a camera. I don't know if anybody can hear me. I can't see anything. Is it still running? What's going on here? All right, I gotta take this out, which is not good, and then find a spot where I can look at this. Okay, it's telling me. So where's the camera? I don't see the camera. Where's the camera? Is it still running live? Can you hear me? I can't see what you're saying. Can you hear me? Yeah, this is kind of strange. Huh. Yeah, I don't know. It just kind of jumped itself off there. I'm trying to look at it to see, is there a way to bring the camera back? Well, there's that.